My name is Margaret Harlan. Most people call me Maggie. I'm 68 years old. I live alone in a modest ranch house on the outskirts of Asheville, North Carolina, and for the last 4 years I've been slowly disappearing from my own life. Not because I wanted to, because someone was helping me disappear. It started the day my only daughter, Brooke, moved back home after her divorce. She arrived on a rainy Tuesday in October with 2 suitcases, a broken smile, and a story about how her ex-husband had left her with nothing. I opened the door wider without hesitation. She was my baby, 37 years old, and still my baby. That night she cried on my shoulder and whispered, "Mom, I don't know what I would do without you." I should have paid attention to the way her tears dried too quickly. Within 3 months, Brooke had taken over the spare bedroom, then the guest bathroom, then half the kitchen cabinets. She said she was between jobs and needed time to heal. I believed her. I cooked for her, did her laundry, drove her to interviews, and quietly paid the growing pile of bills that appeared on the counter with her name on them. Then the headaches started. At first they were just annoying, pressure behind my eyes, dizziness when I stood up too fast. Brooke insisted I see a doctor. She even drove me to the appointment and sat in the room holding my hand while Dr. Patel ran tests. The results came back normal, but Brooke looked worried. "Mom, maybe it's stress. Or maybe something neurological. We should be careful." She started managing my medication. She started managing my calendar. She started answering my phone when I was resting. I told myself she was being a good daughter. I was wrong. One morning I woke up and couldn't remember where I had put my checkbook. Brooke found it in the freezer. She laughed gently and said, "See, these little slips are happening more often. We need to get your affairs in order, Mom." That was the first time I felt the cold finger of fear slide down my spine, because I had never put my checkbook in the freezer. 3 weeks later, I caught her on the phone in the hallway, speaking in a low voice. "Yes, the cognitive tests are scheduled for next month." "No, she doesn't suspect anything yet. She's getting more confused every day." "Perfect." She hung up when she saw me standing there in my robe. "Who was that, Brooke?" "My friend Sarah from the senior center. She knows a good geriatric specialist." Her smile was warm. Her eyes were calculating. That night, I started keeping a secret notebook. I hid it inside an old Bible on the top shelf of my closet, the one place I knew Brooke never looked because she wasn't religious. Every day, I wrote down what I remembered, what I forgot, what pills Brooke gave me, what money disappeared from my accounts. I also started pretending. I pretended to be more confused than I was. I pretended to forget names. I pretended to need help getting dressed. I let her think she was winning, because the truth was far more dangerous than she imagined. You see, I wasn't just a retired school teacher living on a pension and my late husband's life insurance. 26 years ago, before I became Sweet Maggie Harlan, who makes the best peach cobbler in Buncombe County, I was Margaret Ellison, lead forensic accountant for the FBI's white-collar crime unit in Atlanta. I specialized in tracing hidden assets, shell companies, and family financial abuse. I helped put away senators, CEOs, and more than one greedy child who tried to rob their own parents. Then I met Daniel Harlan, fell in love, got pregnant with Brooke, and chose family over career. I walked away from the bureau at 38 and never looked back, or so everyone thought. What no one knew, not even my husband while he was alive, was that I kept a private consulting practice for the highest levels of government and a few very discreet billionaires. I worked under the name The Shadow. I traced money no one else could find. I was paid in cash, cryptocurrency, and favors. Most of that money sat in offshore accounts and blind trusts I had set up under layers of corporations no one could connect to Margaret Harlan. By the time Daniel died of a heart attack 12 years ago, I was worth just over $14 million. And Brooke had no idea. She thought I was living on $2,800 a month in Social Security and a small pension. That was my first mistake, letting her believe I was poor. Her second mistake was underestimating how good I still was at this game. The headaches were real at first, but after the 3rd doctor visit, I realized Brooke had been adding something to my morning coffee. I started pouring it down the sink when she wasn't looking and replacing it with plain water. The confusion stopped almost immediately. but I kept acting. I let her take me to a neurologist she had chosen. I let her watch while I failed simple memory tests. I let her believe I was sliding into early dementia. Meanwhile, I was watching her. I installed hidden cameras in the living room and kitchen, the kind that looked like smoke detectors. I bought a second phone with a different number and kept it in my bra. Every night after she went to bed, I reviewed the footage and transferred money between my hidden accounts so she couldn't track anything. Then came the night everything changed. It was a Thursday in February. I was pretending to sleep in my recliner when Brooke came into the living room with a man I had never seen before. Tall, silver hair, expensive watch. They spoke in whispers. "She's declining faster than I expected," Brooke said. "The new medication is working perfectly. Another month, and she won't even remember her own name." The man chuckled. "And the will? Already taken care of. I had her sign the new one last week when she was confused. She left everything to me. The house, the accounts, everything. Once the court declares her incompetent, I become conservator. We'll sell this place, move her into that cheap facility in Hendersonville, and live off the rest." My blood turned to ice. The man leaned closer. "What about the life insurance and the retirement accounts?" "Mom never had much," Brooke lied smoothly. "But whatever is there is mine now. We'll be comfortable, Richard. Very comfortable." Richard, her new boyfriend, the one she had been hiding from me. I stayed perfectly still until they left the room. Then I went in my closet, took out the notebook, and wrote everything down in code, the same code I used at the bureau. That was the night I decided to stop playing defense. It was time to become the shadow again. The next morning I acted weaker than ever. I spilled my orange juice. I called Brooke Sarah twice. I let her help me to the bathroom. While she was in the shower, I used my secret phone to call the one person I still trusted from my old life, former assistant director Marcus Reed, now retired and living in Charleston. While she was in the shower, I used my secret phone to call the one person I still trusted from my old life, former assistant director Marcus Reed, now retired and living in Charleston. "Marcus, it's Maggie Ellison." There was a long pause.
Jesus Christ.
"I thought you were dead." "Not yet, but my daughter is trying to make it happen. I need your help." Within 48 hours, Marcus had a team quietly investigating Brooke and Richard. What they found made my stomach turn. Brooke wasn't broke from her divorce. She had drained her ex-husband's accounts before leaving him and was now deep in debt to some very unpleasant people in Atlanta. Richard wasn't a consultant. He was a professional estate planner who specialized in helping adult children accelerate inheritances through questionable legal means. They had done this before, 3 times. 2 elderly victims had died in nursing homes within 6 months of being declared incompetent. I was next, but here's where the real suspense began. I started leaving deliberate clues. I accidentally left my old FBI credentials in a drawer where Brooke would find them. I let her discover printed bank statements showing I only had $87,000 in total assets. I even planted a fake will that left everything to a cat sanctuary. I wanted her to get comfortable, arrogant, sloppy. Meanwhile, I was building my case. I recorded every conversation. I documented every pill she gave me. They were low-dose benzodiazepines mixed with something stronger. I traced the wire transfers she was making from my small visible checking account to offshore shells Richard controlled. And then I did the one thing she never expected. I disappeared. Not literally, but digitally and emotionally. One Sunday morning, I told Brooke I wanted to go for a drive alone, something I hadn't done in months. She protested, but finally let me go when I started crying about losing my independence. I drove straight to a private airfield outside Asheville where Marcus had arranged a small plane. I flew to Atlanta, met with 2 former colleagues at the FBI field office, and handed over everything: recordings, documents, financial trails, even hair samples showing the drugs in my system. They opened a formal investigation that same afternoon under the Elder Justice Act. But I wasn't done. I flew back the same day, walked into my house at 9 p.m. looking exhausted, and told Brooke I had gotten lost and didn't remember how I got home. She hugged me tightly. "It's okay, Mom. I'm here. I'll take care of everything." That night, I heard her on the phone with Richard celebrating. She's deteriorating so fast. The hearing is in 3 weeks. After that, we're free. 3 weeks. I had exactly 21 days to finish what I started. I spent those days doing what I used to do best, setting traps. I created fake email accounts and accidentally left them open on my laptop so Brooke could read messages from a non-existent lawyer saying I was changing my will again. I transferred small visible amounts of money into a new account at a different bank and let her discover the statements. I even let her find a diary entry where I wrote that I was afraid of her and wanted to leave everything to charity. The more she panicked, the sloppier she became. The more she panicked, the sloppier she became. She started forging my signature on documents. She pressured me to sign papers while I was confused. She increased the dosage in my coffee. I saved every single drop she tried to give me in small vials I kept hidden in the freezer behind the ice cream. On the day before the court hearing, Brooke and Richard threw a small pre-celebration in my living room while they thought I was asleep. I recorded the entire conversation on the hidden cameras, them laughing about how they would sell my house, drain my accounts, and put me in a facility where no one visits old people anyway. The next morning, Brooke drove me to the courthouse looking solemn and concerned, dressed in black like she was already in mourning. I wore the same navy dress I had worn to my husband's funeral, the one that still smelled faintly of his cologne. The hearing began. Brooke's lawyer painted me as a frail, confused woman whose loving daughter was only trying to protect her. Then it was my turn. I stood up slowly, looked the judge in the eye, and spoke in the clear, steady voice I hadn't used in months. Your Honor, my name is Margaret Ellison Harlan. For 26 years, I worked as a forensic accountant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I retired early to raise my daughter, but I never forgot how to follow money or how to recognize when someone is trying to steal it. The courtroom went dead silent. I continued. Over the past 6 months, my daughter Brooke has systematically drugged me, forged documents, and attempted to have me declared mentally incompetent so she and her partner Richard could seize my assets. Assets she believes are limited to a small pension and this house. I turned and looked directly at Brooke. What she doesn't know is that I have been recording her since the day I realized what she was doing. What she doesn't know is that the FBI has been investigating her and Richard for the last 3 weeks. What she doesn't know is that I am worth considerably more than she ever imagined, and none of it is going to her. Brooke's face went white. I placed a thick folder on the judge's bench. These are affidavits, bank records, toxicology reports, and video evidence. I respectfully ask that this petition be denied and that criminal charges be considered against my daughter and Mr. Richard Harlan. No relation, by the way. The judge called a recess. What happened next felt like a movie. FBI agents entered the courtroom and arrested Brooke and Richard on multiple counts of elder financial exploitation, fraud, conspiracy, and attempted kidnapping. The plan to move me to the facility against my will. Brooke screamed my name as they handcuffed her.
Mom.
Mom, please. I'm your daughter. I looked at her one last time. You stopped being my daughter the day you decided my death was more convenient than my life. I walked out of the courthouse into the bright North Carolina sunshine. Marcus was waiting for me on the steps. You still got it, Shadow, he said with a grin. I smiled for the first time in months. I never lost it. I just put it away for safekeeping. 6 months later, Brooke took a plea deal and received 8 years in federal prison. Richard got 12. The money they tried to steal was frozen and eventually returned to me, along with everything else. I sold the house in Asheville. I bought a beautiful little cottage on the coast near Wilmington with a wide porch and an ocean view. I reopened my consulting practice under a new name, this time helping elderly people protect themselves from exactly what almost happened to me. Every evening I sit on that porch, drink sweet tea, and watch the waves. Sometimes I think about the woman I almost became, confused, medicated, locked away while my own daughter spent my money. Then I remember the woman I actually am. Margaret Harlan, mother, survivor, and the shadow who finally stepped back into the light. The people who claim to love you the most are sometimes the ones you need to watch the closest. And never, ever let anyone convince you that your mind is failing until you're ready to let it rest. My name is Maggie Harlan. I am 68 years old. and I am finally completely, dangerously free.